Okay, hello everyone and welcome back to Injustice 2. So the game's been out for about a month at this point, and the tier list has started to form. I think most people now kind of know who the top tiers are in this game. You have like Black Adam, Aquaman, Superman for sure, Catwoman, who else? Batman. All of these characters are definitely top tier, Atrocitus, and they have a ton of tools and really good tools, because it's not just how many tools a character has, it's what those tools are, which we're gonna get into later. We'll come back to that point. However, in terms of who the bottom characters are, there's still kind of disagreement, mainly because some of the characters are just not used. Captain Cold is a perfect example. I don't think Captain Cold is bad. I think he just no one plays him because, well, to be fair, he's kind of a boring character, as well as Cyborg and things like that. I think recently with CEO, White Boy proved that Scarecrow is very good and very underrated. A perfect example. No one thought that Scarecrow was going to be winning any majors anytime soon. However, one character that I think is kind of universally regarded as being terrible is Swamp Thing. And this is kind of unfortunate because Swamp Thing is the first character I ever tried out in this game. And I really liked him. But even then, as soon as I started taking him online, and I'm not trying to be a smartass or anything, but I kind of saw that there's not going to be much potential here. And I was proven right. And in this video, we're going to go over why that is the case. First of all, Swamp Thing on paper sounds really good. A character that has a full screen, highly damaging command grab. He's probably, I think he's the most, he has the most damaging grabs in the game. Well, maybe except for Bane. However, this is just basically smoke and mirrors, which we'll get into later. He also has another command grab, which you can go into a restand from. You can go into a side switch. You can go into damage. And even if you want to spend a meter, you can give yourself some health. Again, on paper, this character sounds good. Combine that with the fact that he has like mix-ups. He has a log kick, which is a low sort of projectile. Yeah, you're like, what the hell is the problem with Swamp Thing? Well, first things first, this character has probably the worst mobility in the game. The dash is okay, walk speed is atrocious. His forward or meter burn roll, I'll just say it. This move is terrible. It's probably the worst meter burn roll in the game. It's very easy to not hit him out of it, but it has pretty bad recovery as well as startup, which is weird because this is supposed to be the tool for you to get in against zoners. I mean, I challenge you to go online and play against a Deadshot, get full screen and try to get in with Swamp Thing. It's basically fucking impossible unless the Deadshot is like an idiot or something. Other thing in terms of mobility, his jump is terrible. Swamp Thing probably has the worst jump in the entire game. It is incredibly slow. Like, do you see why is he flying like that? He's like floating at like, I don't even know. I know he has wings in his outro, but damn, he's not using them now. It's like he's on the moon or something. His jump is so bad that if you do one of his BMB combos, which I'll just show. Oops. Come on. He can't even link into his jump normals. I'm pretty sure that every single character in this game can extend their combos with a jump normal. Swamp Thing cannot. No matter which one you use, the landing is so slow that you're not going to be able to follow up with anything. And that gets us to the second point. Well, before this jump attack, the jump 3 does have decent hitboxes on it, and it is kind of annoying to deal with. However, the jump 3 is never that useful because you can't follow up with anything. Like, there's nothing you can do. Some characters can do stuff off of their jump 3, Swamp Thing can't. Alright, second point, his damage. This character does not deal good damage. Let me show you one of his BMBs. That's it. 1 meter, 331 damage. And then you have characters like Black Adam, who can take half your life bar with a single touch for 1 meter. So just compare it. I mean, look at this damage. It's absolutely terrible. And there's his... This is his low starting combo. Oops. I think this one is inconsistent too. So there's also that. Come on. I'm screwing up here sometimes because, as you can probably tell, I've not played Swamp Thing in a while. 327. It's awful. And why is his damage awful? Because his back 3 and forward 3 are awful. Again, just like with many things with Swamp Thing, he is the slowest in the game. He has the slowest back 3 and forward 3 moves in the game. Which means that no matter what you do, you're never gonna be able to hit with this. So basically, any kind of bounce combo, which is a basic for every character, maybe except with Blue Beetle, is impossible with Swamp Thing. And you know, Blue Beetle kind of compensates for with air mobility and kind of just like restands and all that. Swamp Thing doesn't. You can of course go for the bounce cancel combo, but even then, just because of the fact that you cannot follow up with any of your jump normals, your damage is gonna be bad. I cannot get that to hit for some reason. I think I'm doing it too early. Well, okay, I need to do the close one. I just want to try this because this is kind of just like improvising. But even then, this is like, for 2 meters, this is terrible damage. Also, because this is so slow, it's very easy to armor break him. A lot of characters can, you know, use this armor move to get out of a bad situation. Swamp Thing cannot, because he's probably the easiest character to break out of his back 3 or forward 3. Also, this move is supposed to be his wake up, but again, it's terrible. It's kind of one of those moves, you know, that doesn't have full invincibility, so sometimes you will be hit out of it. Next up, let's talk about his tick throws. Now, Swamp Thing of course cannot tick off of this. It's way too slow. However, even his tick throws, he can basically only get them off of his down 1, and maybe this, but this move looks good, but again, if you block it, it's death. So his tick throws are incredibly predictable because there is no mix-up there. You can go into this from one of his tick throws, but it's not worth the meter. Like, this is nothing to be scared of. This is not gonna scare your opponent at all when you either take pathetic damage and you sacrifice a meter, or you take pathetic damage from a command grab. So yeah, damage wise he's not there, and if a character doesn't have damage, he doesn't make people fear him. Although some, you know, even Blue Beetle can make characters or opponents fear him if you use him correctly. Swamp Thing is just, the fear is not there. Also, can we talk about this move? I know that a grappler is not supposed to have like good mix-ups, but this has gotta be the slowest move in the entire game, and it doesn't lead to anything. Now you would think that the use for this move would be as a restand, like if you could do that at the end of a combo, you could restand your opponent and, you know, maybe tick throw or go into one of his terrible mix-ups. However, you're never gonna hit with this. This is impossible to hit with in a combo. And as for his mix-ups, again, you can pretty much only do this or this, and neither of these are exactly scary because your opponent is gonna know that you're gonna have to spend damage to get, you're gonna have to spend meter to get damage, and yeah, the mix-ups are just not anything that would produce fear. Also, let's talk about his counter zoning. This is supposed to be it. Again, decent on paper. However, the problem is that if you trade, you will be hit out of it. So again, I challenge anyone to try and get in on a good zoner again with Swamp Thing. And even this, you would think that this could go full screen, but it doesn't. His grab doesn't either. Oh yeah, and let's just talk about this grab for a second. It is one of the most unsafe moves in the game. Let me just go ahead and try recording this. Let's go to Robin. And by the way, I have no idea how to play Robin. So let's just... Okay. Okay, that should hit. I didn't block after it, but do you see how the recovery is on it? Let's get him to jump after. Do you see how long it takes him to jump? You can always tell where, like, how long a move's recovery is by quickly setting your opponent to jump. So the recovery on this thing is absolutely, absolutely atrocious. Pretty much from this range, you're gonna be punished. And even if if the opponent has a good projectile, it's like, forget about it. So this is way too risky to use. Also, finally, let's cover the trait. I know I kind of messed up with this trait when I was first practicing with Swamp Thing because I had no idea how to use it. And apparently other people don't really know how to use it either, because apart from a few players that can set it up in the corner, Abigail's Garden, which is his trait, I think is universally regarded as being awful. And you could say that maybe people haven't figured out what to do with it, but come on, if people can't figure out what to do with a move 1 month after the game's released, it's more than likely that move is just terrible. I think the biggest problem with Abigail's Garden is that it's supposed to be a defensive move, and Swamp Thing is not really good at defense. What they should have, I think, is maybe have an option to cast it under the opponent instead of under you, and that could, I think, increase the threat of Abigail's Garden. However, you know, even then, the whole concept of it, Swamp Thing isn't a pressure character, so why give him a move? You know, these type of like moves that deal damage over time under the character are supposed to be for pressure, and Swamp Thing just doesn't have it. So now we're gonna talk about how to improve him, or how I think you should improve this character, or NRS should improve this character. I don't think he needs a lot. He just needs to be a little bit more consistent. First of all, you gotta change this. Like, they gotta make it more useful, because that move is probably one of the worst moves in the game. Second of all, I would say that this move as a wake up, as well as his 4-4-3, needs to be improved. I already talked about what I would do with Abigail's Garden. And finally, the final thing I would give Swamp Thing is maybe just a slightly faster jump, just so that he can link this. I mean, that's okay, you can actually do that, but that's just, you know, like a back 3 combo. When are you ever gonna get that? And just a little bit of a faster back 3 or forward 3. I think even with all these changes, Swamp Thing wouldn't necessarily become top tier. It's just the way the character works. I think you can keep his walk speed if you're gonna buff his forward 4-3 and his jump. However, it's just this character struggles, which is a shame, because this is again a really unique character. The idea of having a grappling character that kind of goes full screen, almost like Birdie from Street Fighter V, you know, kind of having the option of going for command grab from far away. That's supposed to be intimidating, but it's not. It's kind of unfortunate. Hopefully they are gonna look at this character, because, you know, you want every character to be viable. Sure, there are gonna be top tiers, sure there are gonna be characters that are better than others, but again, just the viability of him. Anyways, I would really like to see this character improve. I would definitely try him out if they make some changes to him. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. For now, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. Hope you guys enjoyed this Injustice 2 video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see all of you next time. Goodbye.